Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. By now, the details of what happened at 6:52 p.m. yesterday are seared into our minds. An I-20 bursting into flames right outside the Red Fort in the very heart of Delhi, leaving 9 people dead. But a lot still remains shrouded in mystery. What really happened before 6:52 p.m. last evening? What transpired in the run-up to the explosion? Was it planned or a panic attack? Tonight, as India's top security agencies piece together the puzzle around the Delhi's first major blast in 13 years, it is India's 10/11, and as one connects the dots, the picture becomes clearer. The pattern is clearly pointing towards a cold, calculated and coordinated conspiracy. In just a bit, I will tell you what no one else knows so far about what was on in the head of Dr. Umar Nabi, the terrorist who was driving the I-20 car. But first, a reminder of the unequivocal warning issued by the Prime Minister of India that the conspirators will not be spared. Pay close attention. Prime Minister used the word conspirators and adjust executor.
इस घटना की जांच में जुटी सभी एजेंसियों के साथ, सभी महत्वपूर्ण लोगों के साथ संपर्क में था, विचार विमर्श चलता था। हमारी एजेंसियां इस षड्यंत्र की तह तक जाएगी। इसके पीछे के षड्यंत्रकारियों को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। All those responsible will be brought to justice.
Not just the executors, but all the conspirators. The Red Fort blast has exposed a whole new toolkit of indoctrination, where doctors turned into radicals in white coats, hospitals turned hotbeds of hate and prescribed death. But how did this all unravel? Let's first get you the chronology in place. It first began on October 27th. The pro-Jaish-e-Mohammed posters that appeared all over Nogam in Srinagar outskirts, that was the starting point of the investigation. Next day, on October 28th, CCTV identified men putting up these posters, and it was Dr. Adil Radhar, and he was one of them, and then the hunt for him began. 3 days later, on October 30th, the probe widened. While there was a Maulvi who was found in Kashmir, gave the whereabouts of Adil, and 3 days later, on October 30th, the probe widened. Jammu and Kashmir police detained another doctor. This was Dr. Muzammil Shakil. Cut to November 6th, investigators arrested Dr. Adil Radhar from Uttar Pradesh, Saharanpur. Soon after, in follow-up searches, an AK-47 rifle was recovered from his locker at GMC Anantnag, the government medical college, a college where he was earlier working, Dr. Adil, but had left almost a year and a half ago. On 8th of November, raids continued in Dhauj in Faridabad. This led to the recovery of 358 kgs of explosive material, that was ammonium nitrate. As the raids and investigations continued, yesterday another rented room was traced in Faridabad. From there, almost 2,500 kilograms of explosives were seized. Both these terror dens were just 500 meters from the Al Falah University where these doctors had worked. Parallelly, another Al Falah linked medic with roots in Lucknow, Dr. Shaheen Shahid, was arrested. Police recovered an AK-47 and ammunition from her car in Faridabad. She is suspected of being tapped by Jaish chief Masood Azhar's sister to help build Jaish's women wing in India. And hours later, the plot reached the capital, New Delhi. And that brings us to the D-Day, November 10th, that's yesterday. And here is a minute-by-minute breakdown of the Fidaiin Dr. Umar Nabi's journey to Red Fort. And follow the trail closely because it will put many things in perspective. The I-20 car that ended up killing 9 left Faridabad for Delhi at around 7:30 a.m. It was spotted crossing the Badarpur toll plaza and entered Delhi at around 8:13 a.m. yesterday. Why is this important? Because this is around the same time that the news of 2,500 kgs of explosive being busted at Dr. Muzammil's rented accommodation came out. This doctor who ran away from there was actually worried that was he next, and therefore could have triggered a panic reaction. Stay tuned because I have explosive information that conclusively establish that this was a panic attack, not a planned one. 5 clues that solve the puzzle, and this puzzle, but for now, let's get back to the timeline. He leaves Faridabad at 7:30 in the morning. At 8:13, he crosses the Badarpur toll and enters the Okhla industrial area. And then for almost 7 hours, we don't know what he was doing, what happened, and that is the link that we're looking for. But in these 7 hours, the mystery goes on. At 3:19, he goes into the parking lot. At 3:19 p.m., he enters the parking lot near Red Fort, and at that point, he stays there for 209 minutes. 209 minutes at the parking lot. 3:19 p.m. in. At 6:48 p.m., the car was then seen leaving the parking lot and moving towards the Red Fort. And that is the red light traffic signal where this blast takes place. And that brings me to the second part of the suspense saga. The 209 minutes of mystery. What was Omar up to in these 3 hours? Was he just waiting in the parking lot? Did he go to the Sunehri Masjid nearby? Was he coordinating with his handlers to decide on the way ahead? I now have the answers to all of these questions. And that brings me to the biggest exclusive news break. This will change everything you knew so far, and the details that no one else has. Scoop number 1 from very high sources. Times Now knows that this I-20 that went up in flames was carrying 80 kilograms of explosive material, ammonium nitrate. Explosive material 80 kgs. This was what the agencies has not been able to detect so far, and this was the 80 kgs that doctor wanted to take and run away. And this, however, was found with no detonators or a timer at the spot. And here comes the clincher that proves that it was not a planned attack. Times Now has learned that the police already had Dr. Umar's picture and details with them. Look at this tweet from the Jammu and Kashmir police that we're putting up right here on our screens. Jammu and Kashmir police put this up. You can run, but you can't hide. 6:10 p.m., November 10, 2025. This, you can run, but you can't hide. This is the Jammu Kashmir police tweet that I'm putting up. At 6:10, when they tweeted, they had already flashed his picture to their counterparts in Haryana. They had flashed these pictures to their counterparts in Delhi, and the manhunt for Dr. Umar, the terrorist who was planning something big, came up. This was the reason. First, in the morning, the cache of 3,000 kilograms of ammonium nitrate was caught, and then this was the dead giveaway that his picture was being circulated and he was trying to run and hide. And if I can pull out two pictures that will tell you the story. One at the toll plaza where you can see him wearing a mask. And that picture will tell you why he was trying to hide his face, simply because he didn't want to get identified. And that picture, if you look at the slide here, this is the car that was going, this is his picture. He has a mask on, trying to avoid the cameras, CCTVs, and probably knowing that he had been identified and therefore running for his life, transporting this explosive material because he thought his game was up and he panicked. He panicked and ran from Badarpur right up to New Okhla industrial area and then went on to Red Fort, where he stood in the parking for 209 minutes. The CCTV footage confirms it was Dr. Umar. I can tell you 100% that the man who was blown up in that explosion was Dr. Umar. Got off his car twice to use a washroom, a public washroom, sat inside the car waiting for the traffic to increase. And this traffic, when it would increase, he wanted to slip away unnoticed. That was his plan. He knew he had no other options left. And going straight across to Amit Kumar, my colleague from Navbharat, national editor Amit Kumar. क्लियरली पैनिक अटैक था ये, और डॉक्टर उमर को पता था सारे रास्ते बंद होते चले जा रहे हैं. उसके जितने भी साथी थे, चाहे वो डॉक्टर शाहीन, डॉक्टर आदिल और मौलवी इरफान, डॉक्टर मुजम्मिल, ये सब अरेस्ट हो चुके थे. इसलिए शायद जल्दबाजी में विस्फोटक सामान अपनी गाड़ी में रखकर, और उस गाड़ी में सीएनजी सिलेंडर था और अमोनियम नाइट्रेट 80 किलो छुपाकर वो भागा वहां से.
जी हाँ, देखिए, निश्चित तौर पर उसे इस बात की जानकारी मिल चुकी थी कि उसका जो पूरा प्लान है, उसके जो साथी हैं वो पुलिस की गिरफ्त में है. और जब पुलिस एक एक करके तार जोड़ रहा है तो उस तार की आखिरी कड़ी जो थी, जो फिलहाल दिख रही है, उसमें डॉक्टर उमर था. तो ऐसे में डॉक्टर उमर के पास कोई दूसरा रास्ता नहीं था कि वो अपने आप को कैसे बचाए, क्योंकि इस बात की जानकारी जिस तरह से करीब 3000 किलो मिला है अमोनियम नाइट्रेट, और वो जो लोगों ने छिपाया था, काफी लंबे समय से उसको रख रहा था, वो पुलिस के हत्थे चढ़ गया था. तो ऐसे में वो जान बचाने के लिए भागा, और आखिर जान बचाने के चक्कर में उसकी जान गई. जो सोर्सेज बता रहे हैं एजेंसीज की तरफ से, इस बात की आशंका जताई जा रही है कि वो इस बात के फिराक में था. करीब जो 209 मिनट वो उस पार्किंग में जो बैठा था, इसके बाद उसकी यही कोशिश थी कि जब भीड़ बढ़ जाएगी शाम को, क्योंकि उस पूरे इलाके में अगर आप देखिए, चांदनी चौक, लाल किले के सामने के इलाके में जबरदस्त ट्रैफिक होती है. तो जब पुलिस को इस बात की जानकारी थी, जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस ने एक तरह से पोस्ट करके जानकारी दे दी कि आप छिप सकते हो, लेकिन भाग सकते हो, छिप नहीं सकते हो, और इसकी पूरी जानकारी थी. फोटो भी सर्कुलेट किया जा रहा था. तो उसे पता था कि उसका खेल खत्म हो गया है. वो भागने के फिराक में था और उस भीड़ में भागने को फिराक में था. और ऐसे में जब डिटोनेटर नहीं पाया गया है, किसी भी तरह का कोई टाइमर नहीं है, किसी भी तरह की कोई चीज नहीं पाई जा रही है, तो इसके बाद एजेंसीज को यह आशंका है कि वो पैनिक में किया गया जो प्रयास था, जो कोशिश थी उसकी भागने की, उसी दौरान वो धमाका हुआ, जो कि वो नहीं चाहता था कि धमाका हो, लेकिन उस जगह पे धमाका हुआ. और इसकी जांच तो हो रही है, लेकिन ये एक पैनिक प्रयास था, पैनिक आप कह सकते हैं कि अटैक था, जिसमें वो अपनी जान बचाने के लिए उस इलाके से बदरपुर होते हुए दिल्ली पहुंचा था, और अंधेरे का फायदा उठाकर, भीड़ का फायदा उठाकर भागने के चक्कर में था. लेकिन धमाका हुआ. 80 किलो उसके गाड़ी में मौजूद था.
बहुत बड़ी बात आप कह रहे हैं, और ये सवाल सबसे पहला सवाल है, अगर ये प्लान्ड अटैक था तो वो रेड फोर्ट में घुस सकता था, किसी मंदिर में घुस सकता था. ही कुड हैव ट्राइड एंड डिस्ट्रॉयड, बिकॉज फ्रॉम द पार्किंग लॉट 800 meters was Jama Masjid, 500 meters was Gurdwara Shishganj, there was the Shiv temple there, and there was the Red Fort, there was a police chowki, but that is not where the explosion happened. The explosion happened at a red light when he was trying to wait for the traffic to increase so that he could run away, mix with the traffic and avoid the eyes of the police personnel who had launched a manhunt for him. That is the big giveaway that we're bringing to you. That is the big headline this evening. It was a panic attack. The blast did not take place in either the parking lot where it could have caused more damage. It did not take place running into the Red Fort, the police chowki, or the places of worship nearby, the Gurdwara, the temple, or the Jama Masjid, but took place on a red light right outside the parking lot. Was it unintended and was it a panic attack? Did it save more lives than the lives lost? Extremely sad, the lives that have been lost, but was a bigger conspiracy avoided? That's the question we're asking tonight. And joining me tonight in the studio with me, Shehzad Poonawalla, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author and scientist, Smita Prakash, editor ANI, Sushant Sareen, senior fellow of the ORF, Vivek Silas, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Sanjay Jha, Congress leader Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, also joining the show. My first question goes to you, Dr. Anand Ranganathan. You're a scientist. Panic attack, 80 kgs of this explosive ammonium nitrate, a CNG cylinder, no detonator and no timer. What does this point towards?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, my sincere condolences to the families of the bereaved. It's an absolutely terrible tragedy. But I must also here, and I speak for all my co-panelists, profusely thank our intelligence agencies and our sleuths for actually saving maybe thousands, tens of thousands of lives, because here, as the case turned out to be, and you've brought out a lot of facts for which I congratulate you and your team, but this was the result of 80 kilos of ammonium nitrate exploding. These terrorists had collected more than 3,000 kilos. And just to give you an estimate of the kind of power that explosion could bring about, Timothy McVeigh in the mid-1990s, he exploded an Oklahoma federal building using 1,000 kilos less ammonium nitrate than these people had collected. And that building was blasted to smithereens. So something big was planned. And it's not just that they had planned it very recently, because as you know, there is an Ammonium Nitrate Act which the UPA brought about in 2012, that no Indian can freely procure ammonium nitrate. The only people allowed to procure it are scientists who work in a university or in labs, and there too, you can only procure 5 kilos and you have to inform the police. Now, if these people had collected 3,000 kilograms, they would have had to have done it in 600 quantas. So obviously, it was a proper teamwork, and a lot of other people would also have to be investigated to find out the bottom of it. Having said that, you're quite right. This was a panic attack, if I can use that phrase. And ammonium nitrate, unlike RDX, does not need a detonator, proper detonator. Heat can actually trigger the explosion. And in this case, possibly because for 5 or 6 hours the car was on, maybe the CNG cylinder heated up to an extent that it requires 150 to 170 degrees to be the trigger for exploding ammonium nitrate. If ammonium nitrate is mixed with oil, which a lot of terrorists tend to do as well, then you need a lower temperature. So I think you're right, this is what has happened, that ammonium nitrate has exploded, unintended, but of course I would still call it not a Fidayeen attack, as Sushant has rightly said, but it is a terror attack, because sooner or later, and God forbid, 3,000 kilograms of it would have been exploded. So we thank the
Which is why the Prime Minister's statement that the conspirators will not be spared becomes extremely important. And Sushant Sareen, this kind of preparation, The conspirators, look at the wires that get joined. The Maulvi in GMC Anantnag, male nurse there, connected to Dr. Adil in Saharanpur. Dr. Adil connected to Dr. Muzammil and Dr. Shaheen in Al Falah hospital where they were working in Faridabad, leading to the cache of, these kind of weapons, AK-47 and AK-56. In a locker in GMC, which Dr. Adil had left a year and a half ago, shows that this kind of a network clearly was planning something big, which was foiled, probably.
Navika, that's a no-brainer. Clearly they were planning something big. Why else you, I, or none of the other people on your panel will keep 3,000 kilograms of an explosive material, number one. Number two, we won't keep detonators or guns or any such thing. So obviously these guys were planning a major attack. Now whether they were attacking one or two very big ones, because if you pack, say, even 1,000 or 2,000, Anand is talking about the Oklahoma City bombing, but let us assume you pack 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 kilograms of this material in a truck and you take it to some place and you blow it up, it's a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. So quite clearly these guys were planning something really horrific, and that has been clearly that's been stopped. Or they could be planning maybe a series of explosions, which some of these characters have done in the past. We remember the Indian Mujahideen attacks in various cities in India. So we don't know exactly. So I think even right now, Navika, as we speak, the various layers of this particular conspiracy are being, unveiled layer by layer. And we really, I think all that we know is right now the tip of the iceberg. Anand is absolutely right. How do you collect 3,000 kilograms of this material and stack it in one place? Secondly, was the explosion which finally happened, was it accidental? Was it this guy who rigged up a basic thing and then decided he's going to blow himself up? We don't know. I think that still needs to be, figured out, confirmed. Even the forensics which we have right now is pretty preliminary. I think there's a lot more investigation which needs to go. What was he doing for 7 hours in that Okhla area? I think that is something which should be of great interest to all of us. Was he hobnobbing with somebody? I can imagine what he was doing in the parking lot. If you just look at some kind of a psychological analysis of somebody like him, he's worried, he's terrified, his entire network is exposed. And what does he do? He doesn't see light at the end of the tunnel, so he's sitting down somewhere trying to figure out what he needs to do. And then, of course, the rest of the larger network. And perhaps this is, unfortunately, only one cell that we might have uncovered right now. We don't know how many of these characters are roaming around. So I think there are multiple questions which still need to be answered, including about if your timeline is correct, and I have no reason to believe it isn't, that this guy leaves at about 8 o'clock in the morning, he leaves Faridabad, enters Delhi. Should not the alerts have gone out immediately, especially at toll plazas? Should there not have been some kind of vigil out there to see if you can apprehend this guy? After all, you had a fix on the car he was driving, or at least I'm assuming that you had a fix. So I think there are some questions which we need to ask about how we can fill in some of the gaps in our entire security. And last point, Navika, I think this is a classic case. Not that this is the first one. There are plenty of cases in the past, but our leftist, socialistic nonsense that has been fed into the entire body politic in India, where we start thinking that, look, lack of education leads to terrorism, poverty leads to terrorism, lack of economic opportunity leads to terrorism. That's utter nonsense, utter complete nonsense, hogwash. Terrorism is political and it is ideological. And until and unless you are going to attack it at that level, you are never going to get to the bottom of it. You can do whatever kinetic operations you want to do, and please stop giving political covering fire to terrorists, because that only
Who are you
encourages
saying that
them to
to?
think.
Who are you saying
No,
that to,
mass
Sushant Sareen?
I'm saying, let me tell you what I'm saying. I'm saying Batla House. Why do you need to give political cover to terrorists? I'm saying what happened in 26/11. That you have senior leaders of a political party talking about ये तो किसी और की साजिश है, ये तो पाकिस्तानियों ने किया ही नहीं, and sanctifying that. We need to stop this damn thing, regardless of the color, the hue, the creed of a terrorist. A terrorist is a terrorist. Please do not give him any kind of cover.
Fair question, fair question. Doctors of death in white coats and stethoscopes. Sanjay Jha, it can't get more stark than that. It can't get more stark than that. That this is probably about ideology. There is a Maulvi Irfan Ahmed who's a male nurse. He's a paramedic and he's indoctrinating doctors in GMC. There are other people who are putting posters in Srinagar who have been caught, who have a history of stone pelting, again linked to the Maulvi. And then you see this network of doctors, 4 of them so far. Dr. Shaheen, Dr. Umar, Dr. Muzammil and Dr. Adil. 4 of them. So it's not lack of education, it is probably an ideology. And question number 2, would you also like to notice the fact that 3,000 plus tons of ammonium nitrate gets caught? Probably a big disaster is also averted.
Navika, good evening. I would like you to give me equal amount of time like you gave Mr. Sareen, so that we can have a more serene and a dispassionate conversation on a very sensitive subject. Point number 1, obviously, deeply unfortunate, tragic, because very innocent people die in these terror attacks. But the one question that continues to keep me flummoxed: when are we going to ask questions of accountability from our political authorities in this country? Or are we just going to be, making these rhetorical sounds about what we prevented without asking ourselves that could we have prevented the deaths of people that have occurred in New Delhi or in Delhi within 6 months of Pahalgam? I mean, I cannot imagine for the life of me that this has happened, which is not very far if you calculate the bird's flight distance from the Prime Minister's house. And I think it's shocking apathy, really, that Pahalgam happens and Mr. Modi goes to town about continuing Operation Sindoor, and you have this happening in the heart of Delhi. There is, and Navika, please, for God's sake, on this subject, let's not take political and partisan positions. This is a security lapse. This is another monumental intelligence failure. I mean, just think about it. What kind of a national security architecture that we have, that in a state ruled by the BJP, not very far from New Delhi, we are talking about 1,000 kilograms of explosive material that thereafter probably got transported across Gurgaon all the way into the heart of Delhi, and nobody knew what was really going on. I think today, any citizen of India will feel insecure and unsafe under this Modi government. Because here are some examples, right? Can we ignore them? And this is not, Navika, I'm not taking a political position here, because this is a tragic day for our country. It's another cross-border attack that has turned out to be, on the face of it, highly successful. Look at the reality, Pulwama. I mean, anybody who's been to Pulwama on the highway will tell you that where the deaths of 40 CRPF soldiers happened is just less than a kilometer away from the CRPF headquarters. Nobody knew what happened. Till today, okay, there is no accountability.
All
Zero.
right. I've given you more time than Mr. Sushant Sareen, and you've said what you said. And if this is the level of serenity that you brought into the debate, Shehzad Poonawalla, please take it on.
First of all, let me tell all the families of the victims that the entire nation stands in solidarity with them. And as the Home Minister, the Prime Minister, the Defence Minister have reiterated that every culprit will be brought to justice and nobody will be spared. The matter has gone to the NIA, so I don't want to prejudge anything, but I am very happy that today questions are being asked about accountability. Navika, after 11 to 12 years, something like this has happened in Delhi, and I'm not prejudging before NIA comes out with a conclusive finding of this, but those who gave 6 blasts in Delhi, 2005, 2006 Jama blast, 2008 serial blast, 2010 Mehrauli blast, 2011 High Court blast, and 2012 outside the Embassy of Israel, those people are talking. Under whose Raj, there was a blast twice in Mumbai, including 26/11, blasts in Pune, Hyderabad, Chennai, Coimbatore, Jaipur, Varanasi. Every city had rocked. 5,000 people were killed, 9,327 attacks took place, and today, when we have seen in the last 11 years that not a single major attack has taken place in any city apart from Jammu Kashmir, which is a area where there has been conflict. At that time, these people are asking about accountability who gave most favored nation status to Pakistan and gave clean sheet to Pakistan. By the way, Navika, let me tell you what they have done today. Mr. Sanjay Jha is asking these questions, but do you know, I have watched this tweet because I am shocked that Times Now did not pick this tweet up. There's a Congress spokesperson called Anuma Acharya. You know what she has said about today's entire घटनाक्रम? मकसद दिल्ली के प्रदूषण से ध्यान हटाना या दूसरे अंतिम चरण में बूथ कैप्चरिंग के गहन प्लान को अंजाम देना, जब देश लाल किला ब्लास्ट पर सोग मना रहा है. This is not just a single isolated incident.
I didn't pick it up deliberately, not that we miss any of these, but I didn't think this low-level tweet really needed to be picked
Navika,
up to be made into a big deal.
I did not want to put you in the corner, but let me tell you one more. Then
No,
from the
I'm
Rajya
not in a
Sabha,
corner. I'm very clear in my mind. Such bizarre statements deserve no publicity whatsoever.
But Navika,
because this shows the low level.
But Navika, unfortunately, Sanjay Jha is not a spokesperson and she is. Jharkhand MP Mahua Manjhi, the timing of this incident just before the elections raises serious questions. It needs to be investigated if there is a conspiracy, how this can occur at the time of voting. And just yesterday on Times Now, Samajwadi Party also linked this with voting, and this is not the first time. By the way, अफजल हम शर्मिंदा है तेरे कातिल जिंदा है के साथ कौन खड़ा रहा था? याकूब मेमन इज इनोसेंट अबू आजमी, ओसामा इज ओसामा जी, हाफिज इज हाफिज सईद साहब. Those who labeled 26/11 and Samjhauta blast as Hindu terror. Then we remember that in the Pulwama case and in Pahalgam case, Samajwadi Party gave clean sheet to Pakistan. By the way, do you know when Simi was convicted by the Supreme Court, RJD and Samajwadi Party said that they are innocent children. Innocent children. So therefore, these people today should be the last person. And last, Navika, forget everything else. Now, Intel failure के बारे में बात की गई है. I don't want to say anything and prejudge the situation. I am only quoting Anand's very good friend Abhijit Iyer Mitra. I don't entirely agree with it, but I am quoting what he has written. Far from being an Intel failure, Delhi attack, the terrible price that we have paid, 12 is a huge loss, but not for this. Hundreds of thousands of people would have died. This week alone, apart from the 22 attacks that were stopped in the last 6 months, ma'am, this week alone he talks about 2 attacks. You are forgetting the Gujarat attack where a chemical weapon was going to be used, and apart from that 2,900 kilos of explosives. That is 1,000 kilos more than what was used in the Oklahoma bombing. I only have one question to ask Mr. Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, if you stand with the agencies, when UAPA was strengthened, you opposed it. When NIA law was strengthened, you opposed it. When there was a first time terrorism has been defined in BNS and BNSS, you opposed it. So therefore, you did not stand with the agencies. You only undermined them.
Sanjay Jha answers this, let me get in the experts. Let me get in Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh. And I want to ask you, also joining me this evening is Mr. YC Modi, former NIA chief. Coming to you in just a minute, but first, Dr. Vikram Singh. Dr. Vikram Singh, do you see this as some amount of success? Yes, 9 people have lost their lives. Nothing can bring back that. But the manner in which this investigation has progressed, the manner in which it has led to the point that Dr. Omar ran away trying to transport and hide with the 80 kilograms of ammonium nitrate. Does it also signify the busting of terror modules which could have led to a larger than this attack somewhere?
Good evening, Navika ji, ladies and gentlemen. I take it as a major success of the intelligence agencies. Begin from 28th of October, when the posters were indeed linked to Dr. Rathar of Saharanpur. And Dr. Rathar, then you have Dr. Umar being a fugitive of justice, running for his life because he knew that his game was up and it was only a matter of time before the law enforcement agencies rounded him up. And when he knew the game was up, perhaps he bungled up in what he wanted to do. But yes, as you very rightly mentioned in your opening remarks, that a meticulously planned conspiracy went absolutely haywire because the police was on a hot pursuit. And what can be a greater level of confidence than what the Kashmir police has said, you can run, but you cannot hide. And to Mr. Sushant Sareen, yes, there is many a slip which the cup and the lip. We have also that dedicated smart control rooms, smart CCTV network, but we could have done much better when this vehicle moved from Faridabad Al-Falah University right into the Delhi area, and then we could not detect him. With all the claims of AI-enabled CCTVs, with all the claims of facial recognition software, but yes, these things do happen once in a while. But the hot pursuit leading to this arrest, yes, a price has been paid, and a heavy price, Navika ji, has been paid. But in the end, in totality, if we view 99 cases that have worked out, no credit for that. But one lapse, and then everybody is after the jugular of the investigating and the intelligence agencies. But all the details that you have got, rich mine of information on the basis of ammonium nitrate, Dr. Anand Raghunathan ji has explained the devastating and the calamity that would have befallen had all this ammonium nitrate would have exploded. Just imagine the catastrophe that would have happened. We saw this something akin like this in September 2011, gate number 5, Delhi High Court, and also the Indian Mujahideen serial blast right across Uttar Pradesh, Ahmedabad, Jaipur. We have completely forgotten that. Let us not be ungrateful to what has been done, because arresting of these so-called white-collar terror modules and also the IED, moving IED, this is something that is new, that Jaish-e-Mohammed has initiated, white-collar terror modules, harboring of sleeper cells in this manner, and thirdly, moving IED vehicles. Therefore, that was a moving time bomb, a ticking time bomb, and that was neutralized. I wouldn't say neutralized, but yes, the hot pursuit had a lot to do in the way the things unfolded. You are very right. It was a meticulously planned conspiracy, but the investigating and the intelligence were absolutely on hot pursuit, and it's because of this.
Absolutely, did it create panic? And that is the question I take to Mr. YC Modi, ex-NIA chief, and Mr. YC Modi. The fact that Dr. Umar was on the run, the fact that his accomplices in this entire network, Dr. Shaheen, Dr. Adil, Dr. Muzammil, and the Maulvi Irfan Ahmed who were caught, was making him absolutely worried about the fact that he was next. The fact that 3,000 kilograms of explosives had been caught. People are now asking, was this a panic attack that he was running from one place to the other? And the fact that he did not target any high value area, but was actually coming out of the parking lot and the car blasted at the red light. Does it lead you to a theory of possibly a panic run more than a Fidain attack that it's being looked at?
Navika, whatever conclusions we are drawing now, these are all based on the information available in the media. The actual sequence of events and why Dr. Umar blasted the vehicle will come to know after the interrogation of his other colleagues who have been arrested and who are with Kashmir police. I mean, like any other common person, I also feel that it must be a panic attack, because he came to know that all other his friends, his colleagues have been already arrested, and in no time police will reach up to him. That is why he was roaming around in the town. He started in the morning and he committed this heinous terror attack in the evening. So the whole day he was not very clear how to run away, where to go, and I'm not sure whether it accidentally blasted or whether he committed the feline attack. I mean, all these things will be known only after interrogation of his other colleagues. But undoubtedly, it is a very, very serious matter. It is a matter of great concern, because we don't know now. There may be many others like Dr. Umar who may be who might have parked their explosives somewhere, or they may be roaming around. So there is a lot of challenge for all the investigating and intelligence agencies, including NIA, to find out the other members of this module. I am not ready to believe that it was restricted to 7 or 10 persons. There must be a much bigger number who were their supporters, who were their overground workers, who were providing them the materials. So
absolutely, the network would be larger than this, and we still need a long way to travel before we can say that this network has been exposed. But let me bring in Smita Prakash. Smita Prakash, the fact that a laptop has also been recovered could have very, very important data stored in there. These days, conversations don't take place on normal telephone lines or WhatsApp calls or Telegram calls. They take place through various VoIP lines and apps. That can be something that comes out of that laptop. I'm also being told that that laptop is going to be submitted to the courts, because if you want to use it as evidence, you need to go through a court procedure for that. But even while all of this is happening, Smita Prakash, the fact that political parties raise the question of, is this being done to divert attention away from booth capturing in Bihar? I mean, does this really sound normal to you, or is it really weird?
Oh, absolutely normal. It's something that we have witnessed all the time, that though Sushant says that there shouldn't be politicization of terror, it's always been politicized in our country. Never have I seen it not being politicized. As far as the laptops, phone and things like that which you're mentioning, of course they will give data, but it seems that those who have already been taken into custody or have been arrested already, they seem to have been singing and giving out all the details, and that's why probably this Dr. Omar did the panic thing of exploding the device without a detonator. Anand, Sushant and Dr. Singh were talking about the ammonium nitrate just now when you spoke with them, and I think we've all forgotten that in February this year, 16,000 kilograms of ammonium nitrate was found in a truck in Birbhum in West Bengal. That itself should have sent out warnings or panic states situation that something is happening. If 16,000 is found in one place at one time, you know that there is a problem that we have in our hands as far as the banning or the law of not hoarding ammonium nitrate is concerned, that it's being flouted. As far as you know what is happening on the ground, Navika, you know, these the law enforcement forces who've been investigating, and there are dozens of them in all the states who are working round the clock ever since the blast took place yesterday and the seizures in Haryana. The fact is that some of them, I got to know today, that some of them have joined the forces after 2012, especially in Delhi. This is the first terror attack that they have seen. I mean, between 2005 and 2011, if I'm not mistaken, that period was fraught with all kinds of terror-related activities. There were 4 or 5 of them in heavily populated areas like in Connaught Place, in Sarojini Nagar. So these new recruits into the Delhi police have never seen this kind of though the government has not yet called it a terror attack. If you join the dots, you know that this was a terror attack. So those who are working out there, those who were coming in from the forensics, they've never seen this kind of a blast that we saw. But the death doctors, who planned it and plotted it and who have been taken into custody. They are clearly low down in the pecking order. Their AKAs, their planners will be brought to justice is what the Prime Minister said, and you ran that bite of the Prime Ministers from Bhutan. Whether it was a panic attack or whatever doesn't matter. It was a strike which led to death and destruction, and India is watching and waiting for them to be brought to justice.
Absolutely well said, but we're also getting information that some live cartridges have also been found. There could be some other explosives, traces of that. These are informations that we're still getting from the investigation agencies, our sources telling our reporters all of that. But Sanjay Jha, somewhere as a country, my question to you is, are we lacking the maturity to handle an attack of this nature, an incident of this nature? Are we really all the time loading our cartridges into a rifle of politics? You're on mute.
Navika, I will agree with you on this one. But I will give you an example that will be uncomfortable for some people on the panel to respond to. You have the Home Minister of this country who during the Bihar election campaign has been talking about Ghuspetia happening from the eastern borders of India. When, as you can see, the infiltration is happening from the western side. It happened in Pahalgam. And if we are talking about 1,000 kilograms of explosives happening, they are clearly happening from across the border. So when you have these misplaced political priorities, when you make infiltration into a domestic political agenda because it suits your electoral politics, the common citizen of this country will pay a price.
Either you're being naive, or you do not read, or you do not see the visuals. Are you saying the eastern side of India does not have infiltration happening? Nothing is happening on that side just because the India alliance is having a role, Shehzad?
Forget me, it was Jharkhand CM Hemant Soren who had said that the entire... Please sir, I have not interrupted you and time is short.
Where did the four terrorists
it was Hemant Soren, Navika,
in this case, but ammonium nitrate can come. Smita just talked about 16,000 tons of 16,000 kgs of ammonium nitrate being caught in Birbhum.
Navika,
where does that lie?
Navika, the problem is that some people are not asleep, they are pretending to sleep. Today, the real question that needs to be answered are three questions, and I'm asking this as an Indian Muslim. We were all told that religion is not associated with terrorism. But a religious doctrination becomes so strong that irrespective of your education and class level, you are getting indoctrinated. Should that not be addressed? Osama bin Laden to Al-Zawahiri to the 9/11 plotters and the people who crashed the plane, to these doctors. Point one. And point number two, there is a 2.5 front war in this country. 2 front से तो deal कर लेंगे, half front से जब deal करते हैं, तब संजय झा जैसे लोग बोलते हैं कि don't take the action. This is not right because they put vote bank नीति over राष्ट्र नीति. And that is why he's saying now we should not act against infiltrators also. And today this half front should be dealt with.
Will political parties recognize the fact that there is a white collar terror that is actually taking place? The doctors of death right here and the lab Al-Falah, the lab of terrorism right there in Faridabad. These are questions. Is this a new form of terror that we are looking at, or is this old, has been staring us in the face, but we are in denial? Please answer these questions.
First of all, heartfelt condolences to the people who have lost their life and their families, At the beginning of the show, you said that it was not a planned attack, but that attack happened and people lost their lives. One of the panelists was saying he's thankful to the agencies of India,
yes,
that 8 or 10 of our people have died. He's thanking.
I'm sorry, you're twisting the
question
word.
The question should have been.
The fact that was stated was... No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to allow you to get away with this. What was said was, yes, 9 people died.
The question is, how did the
a
attack happen?
larger plot was averted. That was the point that was made.
Party says that no one will be spared.
Vivek, silence.
He says that we are
Vivek,
supporting the
silence. Do
Pakistanis.
not be,
You are calling the people
do
from
not
the
be
ISI
too clever
from
by
Pakistan
half.
to
Anand
investigate
Ranganathan,
the Pathankot.
twisting the facts.
Ironically, just Anand's defense.
You are the one who called the ISI from Pakistan.
Ironically, this
Who
is a
ordered
party.
you? Amit Shah said in Bengal
Ironically,
that they will go.
आपकी सरकार ने तो टेररिस्ट छुड़वा दिए थे. Allahabad High Court had to intervene. You have no right to argue on it.
Ironically, this is a party which
No
was
one is
releasing
asking
terrorists on
about
the
if the
basis of
3,000
religion, and the High Court said that if you release them today, will you release will you give them Bharat Ratna and Padma Shri tomorrow?
Can you
And
answer
those
that?
terrorists were
Can
convicted.
you answer that?
Those
He
terrorists,
cannot
he
answer
is
that.
shouting only so that the people
How did
can't hear.
the
Navika, let us have a
come to Delhi?
Ma'am, let us
How
speak
did
one
it
by
come?
one. Navika,
Who brought
please.
it?
Ma'am, he's allowing.
What is that 80-year-old Ajit
Vivek,
Doval doing?
silence. I explained to
What
you
is
the
the
entire
80-year-old
network.
NSA
From
doing in
Jammu,
India?
Kashmir to Saharanpur
cannot
to
handle
Faridabad
things.
to Gujarat. आपने अनकवर किया क्या कि एजेंसीज ने किया? आपने अनकवर किया.
मैं ये जानता हूँ कि हिंदुस्तानियों की जिंदगी
1 minute,
गई है.
Vivek. Hold on. Listen to the other side.
Navika, we have with us on this distinguished panel a person called Vikram Singh. Vikram Singh and his team caught terrorists. They were put in jail. They were released by this person's government, and the courts chastised them and they got convicted. Vikram Singh had arrested those terrorists.
इन्वेस्टिगेशन करने ISI हमने बुलाई थी.
1 minute. Hold on.
शाह जी ने
Anand
बुलाई थी.
Ranganathan.
This is where I did
और अमित शाह जी ने इस बात को कलकत्ता में कहा था कि ISI हिंदुस्तान में आके बहुत अच्छा काम करेगी. आपने ही बुलाई थी ना कि समाजवादी पार्टी ने बुलाई
दुनिया में
थी.
रहते हैं भाई.
किस दुनिया में किस दुनिया में
आनंद
आप रहते हैं?
रंगनाथन, मुझे समझ नहीं आता ऐसे वक्त में भी अगर हम फैक्ट और
ना,
फिक्शन
नहीं,
और
सवाल भी ना करें नाविका
पॉलिटिक्स
जी, ये तो बढ़िया
में डिफरेंट
ना. यहाँ लोगों की जानें चल गई और सवाल भी ना करें. जो हो रहा बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है. पाकिस्तानियों को तुम बुला के इन्वेस्टिगेशन कराते हो.
Gentlemen, 1
नहीं बुलाया था
minute.
क्या?
Only
हाँ,
politicians
चलो.
cannot have a say. Citizens have a voice. Anand Ranganathan.
First of all, I absolutely condemn, even though he is a very dear friend, Vivek ji. This is totally unacceptable.
No, we are
He put-
thankful to the agencies that
Yes.
9 or 10 of our people have lost their lives.
No, who
and
said?
you're thanking them.
Navika, again he says.
Come on, this is
totally
incredible.
unacceptable.
This is absolutely
This is
incredible. You're thanking the agencies who have failed.
Nobody
Who have
thanked the
failed to, avoid this attack.
Vivek, Silas, I
just
will
gave
call
up.
out your lies.
think this is-
I will call out your lies
Please put
because
your hands
today
on me.
I will call you somebody. I don't use this word, but you are lying on national television.
What did I say?
What was said was 9 people lost their lives. Extremely, extremely painful, but a larger conspiracy, a larger plot was averted, saving lives in that because the agencies joined the dots. If you do not understand intelligence, investigation or pure
has
English,
completely
clearly you need help
Completely
from some quarters that I certainly cannot provide. But ladies and gentlemen, we need to feel angry. We need to feel angry when people begin to turn this into a political circus. When they twist words and they twist ideologies to protect what they want to protect. And you understand what I'm saying. I've always maintained terror does not have a religion. But today, what has happened and what has been uncovered so far clearly shows that we are up against a huge challenge. The doctors of death, the hospitals of terror laboratories. Well, we need to wake up to the new reality and we need to smell the coffee. Is this government capable of doing that? You, the viewer, is going to be the judge, not the political parties. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on this debate. But as we wrap up, the